The issues affecting us in our daily lives now in Europeans.
Hubert van Bel and his partner Liv de Clittel bought their dream house in Spain 18 years ago along the Costa Blanca in the village of Benissa. But last November, this Belgian couple's dream turned into a nightmare when they received a letter from the town hall. Under Valencia's land laws, they were told that half their land would be expropriated to build 17 houses. They would also have to contribute 700,000 euros towards roads and water systems for the project.
Building developers exploit loopholes to profit from the law, which is meant to benefit society. The law was made for the good of society, to put up hospitals or to further industry and all that. It was not meant as a gift to developers doing individual houses.
Welcome to the world of Valencia's land laws, officially known as LRAO. They were created in 1994. Their aim was to allow urbanization plans for the good of the community. But in the last few years, up and down the Spanish coast, cases like the Belgian couple's have multiplied. Under the law, local municipalities can redesignate rural land urban, paving the way for development. Expatriates, but also locals, complain their property is taken not for the good of the community, but for the good of the developers. The Belgian couple filed a complaint with an association called Abusos Urbanisticos No. It's headed by this man, Charles Svoboda. 2 years earlier, with 15,000 petitions signed, this Canadian went to the European Parliament. The result, 2 fact-finding missions, and last December the Parliament recommended Valencia change the law or face sanctions from Brussels. The new law went into effect last month, but controversies are far from settled.
If you own the property, it is legitimately acquired, either through inheritance or purchase or however else it's been acquired. It is your property. They have to recognize the fact that if someone wants that property for whatever purpose, they should at least pay a negotiated price for it. That would, in that one step, they would clear the whole problem, because then people would know where they stood. Now, with the kind of laws they have here, 1,000 pages of new laws, very obscurely written, no one knows where they stand.
But those in charge of Valencia's urbanization disagree. Planning and Territories Councillor Rafael Blasco says the new law makes up for past abuses.
The old law sometimes prejudiced smaller owners. It gave exorbitant powers to urbanizers, to the detriment of the property owners. To correct the abuses which existed under the former law, we have taken several EU recommendations into account. In this Valencian urban development law, we have included guarantees of the small and medium-sized owners' prerogative. Their security is absolute.
But as Valencia's beachfront keeps booming, some Valencians wonder if their rights really will be protected. Last summer, these farmers found out their fields would soon be replaced by a commercial center currently located on the beachfront. The plan is to move the shopping mall inward to make room for a new marina. Valencia will host the next America's Cup. The farmers argue the water irrigation used here dates back centuries to the times of the Moors. They can't move the system elsewhere even if they are compensated. Jose Luis Alonso Hurtado says his family has been here for 6 generations and he doesn't want to sell, especially for a shopping mall.
What the municipality and the mayor want to do is an expropriation by force of all this land. Of course, there might be an expropriation for a retirement home or a cultural and sports centre, but we believe it is with a private commercial objective, and the judges are finding in our favour. This expropriation is illegal.
Individual property rights versus urbanization. It's no doubt a controversial issue in Valencia, which has undergone a huge economic transformation in the past 10 years. It's also one of Europe's most popular tourist destinations. Last year, it was the #1 choice for British tourists alone. But with beachfronts virtually saturated, developers have been looking more and more inland. Mark Harrison is one of the estimated 33,000 British who own property in the Valencia region. 6 years ago, he bought a house in the village of Parsant, population 1,000. Last summer, he and other residents discovered their property was earmarked for a development project. 1,500 houses would be built in these hills. Harrison says over half the town is against this plan.
Now you have to ask yourself, why would anybody sensible want to allow houses like that to be built in this valley? The answer isn't that the town hall or the people want them. The answer is that the developers know that it's easier to sell cheap little boxes, little concrete boxes, than it is to sell expensive villas.
Other residents also argue that a small town like Parsant could not absorb such a huge project, but that money guaranteed by the developers to a town hall in desperate need of it is what got the plan approved. But the mayor of Parsant defends the project. She says her town needs progress and infrastructure such as libraries and new schools.
All towns started small. We don't want to change the life of the village completely, but a little bit of progress isn't a bad thing. It's necessary to have more people come to the village. They won't all come in a few months. It'll take years. It's all going to happen gradually, bit by bit.
Svoboda hopes that with the EU now watching, projects such as Parsant will at least be suspended. But he's not holding his breath for the thousands of owners who have already lost property under the old land laws.
They get compensation from the builders. The builders basically are front companies. They disappear as soon as they've made their profit. They can't be sued effectively. The governments, the Valencian government is the most indebted one in Spain per capita, something like 10 billion. They have also got the highest amount of subvention, so they're not in any position to pay it. Almost every town here has got a serious financial problem, and they're running huge debts.
Hubert and Liv say their future is in limbo while they wait for an answer from the town hall. But for them, a green light for their project would mean one thing: leave.
Mais pour nous, c'est la perte pure. Hein. Tu vois, on va partir.
With Valencia's new land laws now taking shape, property owners in Valencia are hoping they will be able to keep their homes and land and not have to keep fighting for what they believe are inalienable rights.